No, me and Patralekhaa were together during the first lockdown, and second wave, we were in Shillong. Uh, Patralekhaa lost her father. But there were times, of course, I wanted to arrange, say, some bed for someone, and I tried very hard, but could not. I think it's not easy when you are in that situation where, mentally there's so much happening around you. Like, it took me 10 minutes to start talking with Harsh, my director for Badai when I saw it. Same with Bheed. I saw it at Anubhav sir's house, me and Patralekhaa and another friend of ours, Vivek, and we all came out quiet.
Some people called it anti-India. Some people questioned the comparisons made between partition and the migrant wave.
If somebody wants to assume something, that's his or her prerogative. I am nobody to really, tell them anything. The boy from a very poor family in a village in Andhra Pradesh at that time, and today he became this billionaire. So it's so inspiring. And I say this enough, but it was very orgasmic. Misunderstandings would get cleared.
He has been the face of change in Indian cinema. He has been a voice for change, and his latest offering, Bheed, is another addition to that list and kind of aligned with that ideology that he has always abided by. And today it's an honor for me as I welcome RajKummar Rao for a conversation only on Bollywood Bubble. So Rajkumar, welcome to Bollywood Bubble.
Thank you, Akash, for such a kind introduction.
It has always been a pleasure for me to be sitting across to you. It is always very fun for me. But today the film is a very poignant one. So I think the conversation also should follow that kind of a tone. Firstly, I wanted to ask you that the time period that Bheed talks about, it was a very difficult time for everyone, and everyone has different kind of difficulties. It's not like everyone was facing the same kind of issues. For you, while you were shooting the film, did it bring back the memories of those time about when you were facing the hardships in your life?
So we shot this film during COVID. So everything was very fresh in our minds. We just got out of the second wave, which was the horrible scenario that we all saw, that we all witnessed. So it was all very fresh, but for like how it happened with us also, I'm sure even with you, like we also saw those migrant workers walking back to their respective places, and we also saw those visuals, but we didn't know what happened to them after that. And in our film, we talk about that. So I was seeing those faces. Of course, they were all actors, and they were all real people. But just seeing that and imagining something like this must have happened with some of them was gut-wrenching. It's not easy what they faced, but more power to their strength. I think hats off to their strength that they managed to did what they planned to do. Yeah.
And like in this film, now when I was seeing the teaser as well as the trailer, there are scenes where it's shown that you feel so helpless at times because you are not able to help people and you are not able to control what's happening around. In life, has it ever happened where you felt kind of helpless, be it personal life-wise or be it career-wise?
Yeah, in the second wave, like I really went out of my way and helped so many people, whoever reached out to me, and in whatever way possible, be it financial, medical. But there were times, of course, like all of us, we were all there for each other at that time. I think all the social media became like a cry for help for each other. But there were times, of course, I wanted to arrange, say, some bed for someone, and I tried very hard, but could not. And there were times when I could manage a bed for someone. So I think these things made me feel, of course, very helpless and made me feel very sad about the fact that somebody is in a desperate need of something, and all of us are trying, but we just could not.
Yeah. And one striking feature is that you realize you have played 3 cops in your last 3 films, and all have been very different with the different struggles. In Badai, though, your character was struggling with the conflict of accepting who he is. In Hit, it was about fighting his inner demons. Here, it's fighting the demons that is existing outside. So, kind of dealing with all that, did it ever become overpowering for you?
It's not easy, especially for films like Bheed and Hit, and even the climax part of Badhai though, which is I think is the one of the most beautiful parts of that film. I think it's not easy when you are in that situation where mentally there's so much happening around you, uh, and you're helpless. You're really desperate. You're struggling so hard. In Badaido's case, he's struggling so hard to come out in front of the family first and then the world. But he just couldn't do it. And the whole film is about, for Shardul, that's the whole battle throughout the film, that he wants to keep it hidden because he's scared. He's scared of the societal pressure, societal norms. In Hit, of course, his inner demons, the battle with inner demons, that was mentally very tough to go through that. And it there's some 2-3 times in the film. So whenever that would happen, it would, of course, trouble me mentally for a couple of hours once we're done filming. And Bheed is something which is happening then and there. Of course, he's carrying that baggage of where he comes from, his upbringing, his roots. He's carrying that baggage throughout. But then what he witnesses in that one day, because the story is about one day. It happens in one day like Newton. But he sees a lot. And what all happens with him in that one day when he meets all these strangers and who are having their own struggles and their own hardships, and he's coming with his own baggage. So I think that's the beautiful conflict about this film, that there are all these characters, they meet at this one juncture, and this COVID going on, and their true spirit starts coming out, which makes them who they are in the film.
Yeah. But in real life, is there any inner demon that you still struggle to kind of fight within yourself?
Inner demon? No, there's no inner demon in real life. Yeah.
Chalo, acha hai. Matlab, a little bit more, much more zen in real life. Yeah, in that regard. But Bheed, this term Bheed, crowd, has it ever happened that you ever felt lost in a crowd in life?
No, I never felt lost, but when I came to this city in 2008 and looking for work for 1.5-2 years, you, of course, end up standing outside audition doors with some 50 unknown people who also, just like you, have come to the city with dreams in their eyes. So I never felt lost because I was like, of course, everybody's having their own battles within themselves and with the outside world. But I was sure that I'm here for no other reason but because I really love what I do. So for me, even the audition process was, I'm getting to act. And I would always, a lot of times I would even request my casting directors that, can we do one more? I think I can do it better. Please just give me one more. So I think just to act is something which makes me very happy. Even in those times, giving auditions or coming back home and just doing some scene work with my friends or some improvisations would make me very happy, would make me very content that, I did something fruitful today.
Yeah, and I think that happiness is what people relate to with you as well. And that is why your career has been such one-step growth after the other, because people relate to that happiness. People can feel that, the audience can feel
it. It translates.
That.
I think when you're happy doing something, when you're doing it with utmost sincerity and honesty, that honesty really translates to the audiences.
Yeah. And when the teaser of Bheed came, it created a lot of noise. Some of it was bad, some of it was good, but it did create a lot of noise. There was a lot of discussion that went around. Some people called it anti-India, some people questioned the comparisons made between partition and the migrant wave. And so, was it ever deterring for you seeing that kind of reception? Because you have put your heart and soul into the film. You have made it with a certain intent, and without even seeing the final product, people have made assumptions around it.
I think that's their job. I respect that. If somebody wants to assume something, that's his or her prerogative. I'm nobody to really, tell them anything, because I was sure the kind of film that we've made, and now that we've had a couple of screenings and people have come out very moved, very touched, thinking about a lot of things that they have in life. So I think now we're very sure that once they watch the film, all these misunderstandings would get cleared.
But I have not yet seen the film, but I've heard from people around that everyone has come out saying we are still processing it.
Still processing.
And I think that is the essence of such a film. To create and leave an impact that people still think about it after exhibition.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be like you leave it.
Yeah, exactly. Like how I still remember when I saw Badaido for the first time. And even the audience, when they saw it, you can't just come out and say, "Maza aa gaya yaar, fuck, what a film," because it moves you. It makes you think. So you're still processing it. It takes you some time to come out of it. And like it took me 10 minutes to start talking with Harsh, my director for Badaido, when I saw it. Same with Bheed. I saw it at Anubhav sir's house, me and Patralekhaa, another friend of ours, Vivek, and we all came out quiet because it's not one of those fun comedy, light-hearted film. It's a beautiful story, and you're really invested in the story and these characters. And once it gets over, you just don't want to break that bubble because it's still going on in your mind. It's still mingling in your mind. Yeah.
So during COVID, when the second wave or the first wave, the whole time when it was happening, were you with your family, the whole family, or were you in Mumbai at that time?
No, I was. Me and Patralekhaa were together during the first lockdown, and second wave, we were in Shillong. Patralekhaa lost her father, so we all went there, of course. And then the second lockdown happened, so we ended up staying there for a couple of months.
Okay, but like seeing that struggle that was happening back home, because when you were in Mumbai, you were not with your family, and their struggles are also happening side by side, and you can't be a part of solving that at that time in person. You can be virtually present. That's the max you can do. So was it difficult to kind of put your head around this, that in this time when I should be there next to them, I wasn't there? Did it ever become too much overwhelming?
No, but I was constantly in touch with them. Also, I got COVID in the second wave, so they were more worried about me than I was about them. But luckily, I came out of her safe and everything. But I was constantly in touch with them. Because I was a freak. I was so touchy about sanitizing everything around me because you're more worried about people who you love than yourself. So I was constantly telling them and guiding them that what my doctor would tell me, I would just pass on that message to them.
And I loved the fact now when everything was happening around, people were talking about the film. Hansal Mehta sir was one of those people who came out in support, who kind of put his voice behind the film, who supported the film. Was it a little confidence booster as well when a person like him, who is known to back important topics, who is known to voice his opinion?
Of course, Hansal sir is like, he's my family here. And so is Anubhav sir now. And they both are really close buddies. So I think it's important to support each other because these are the people who try and push their boundaries, who try and tell important stories, which is not your usual run-of-the-mill stories. So I think it's important for all of us to stand with each other.
But the trailer of the film was pulled down from the T-Series YouTube channel. There was a lot of hullabaloo that came around with it. But today we are sitting in the T-Series office. The interviews are happening here. Was it something blown out of proportion, or what actually happened there?
Honestly, I'm not the right person to answer that. I think it's a creative decision that the makers would take. And of course, they don't ask me to, "Hum ye kar rahe hain, what do you think?" My work is done when my work is over while filming it, and now I'm here to promote the film. So these are not things that I'm in the right state to answer.
But like in the coming lineup also, you have some amazing projects like Mr. and Mrs. Mahi. There's Shri, and I'm quite excited for Shri because that is a very different kind of a role, and there's something you will be also attempting for the first time.
Absolutely, very challenging, but had a great time. I think I'm playing this visually impaired boy. It's a true story. It's a biopic of Shrikant Bola. I had a great time playing that part. It's not easy to play a blind person on screen. And I wanted to do something different, something which has maybe not seen before, because I spent a lot of time with real life visually impaired people. I went to a lot of like blind schools and spent enough time with them and learned a lot from them and how brave they are. For them, this is not a disability for them. They live their life they want to. Like that's why Shri's story is so important, because the boy from a very poor family in a village in Andhra Pradesh at that time, and today he became this billionaire. So it's so inspiring, and I say this enough, but it was very orgasmic for me to just play this man. By orgasmic I mean
for the soul,
creative satisfaction that I got from Shri. Which is unreal.
For me, see, I am a huge admirer of Alaya. I am a huge admirer of you. So for me, that is the plus point of the film. I'm getting to see both of you together, and I want to see it a lot happening in the future as well. So for me, that is a major plus point for the film. And wishing you lots and lots of love and luck for Bheed and everything you do in future. You are a gem of a person. You are very rarity of a person we find in today's time. Please be like that, RajKummar, and it is always a pleasure to talk to you. Can't wait to have this conversation again with you. Thank you for giving us this time, and lots of love and luck.
Thank you, Akash.
Thank you so much.
I am RajKummar Rao, and you're watching me on Bollywood Bubble. Please like, share, and subscribe to Bollywood Bubble.